Hey guys, what's up? It's Jenna here. Welcome to Belin Youth Group at Home Edition. I am so excited you are joining us. We are kicking off summer here with a new series, and you may have noticed that our premiere hours have changed to Sundays at 8 p.m. and I am so glad that you are joining us for this awesome series. So our series is In My Opinion. I don't know about you, but I hear that phrase a lot. In my opinion, I feel like we use it oftentimes to kind of put a feeler out there, like, you don't have to agree with me. In my opinion, that's the best movie ever. In my opinion, Cats was awful. In my opinion, these are the best sneakers ever. In my opinion, that math test was heinous. Whatever it is. Oftentimes we might use it to kind of skirt around and not be judged. Sometimes we seem to use, in my opinion, to be able to apply judgment to somebody else. Like, in my opinion, she's too clingy. Or, in my opinion, that guy's a real jerk. In my opinion, that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard, right? Sometimes we use it to say something negative. And look, we all have opinions. We are in a part of a culture where we love to share what we love, and we also love to hate, and we love to hate haters as well. And we share about all of these things. And it's okay to have an opinion. It's actually a good thing to be able to share and talk with one another about the things we think. However, sometimes our opinions are really just us being haters. Sometimes our opinions are nothing but our negative judgment. And so today we're going to talk about that in this series. Sometimes our opinions are just us being judgmental and mean, and it really reveals our hearts. But I don't need to tell you that. If you're in middle school or high school, you know how much people like to talk about other people. You know the people that people love to hate on and love to talk about. It's this crazy phenomenon, right, where everyone seems to just want to share their judgments. And middle school especially can be a really tough place for that. Well, I think honestly there's lots of reasons why people like to talk negatively about other people and to gossip. I think one of the reasons is insecurities. When we talk poorly about somebody else, it makes us feel better about ourselves, like as if we're being compared, and we kind of get this sense of feeling superior. So our insecurities. Another reason why we'll talk about somebody else is because it helps us bond with a friend. When we feel like we can agree on someone or maybe even form a common enemy, we tend to gather together and have this great sense of relationship, but it's built on gossip. Another reason we might gossip is because it's fun. Sometimes it makes us laugh, or it's just a funny situation that we want to talk about. Another reason is we feel competitive. We feel superior when we talk about somebody else, and we want to be better than them. Another reason we might gossip or say negative things about somebody is because it's true. That girl really did cheat on that guy. That guy really did cheat on that math test. Sometimes these things really did happen, and then didn't they really bring it upon themselves? And that can be kind of a tricky one. And here's an even trickier one. Sometimes we talk about other people and we say negative things to our friends that sound something like, I know I'm not supposed to say this. And we do it because sometimes we honestly care. That girl really did have an abortion, and you were friends with her in 4th grade. So you feel like you want to reach out to her or get her help or be there for her, but you don't know what to do, so you talk to your friends about it. Sometimes our intentions are good, but the result is bad. The reality is gossip is a huge part of our current culture, our TV. I mean, we have celebrities who haven't done anything particularly noteworthy, but they're famous. And they're famous because People love to talk about them. Their entire presence on social media, the pictures they've taken, and the way they have been in the news has caused them to be a celebrity that everyone follows. They've built their entire careers on being talked about because this kind of gossip and talk is a huge part of our culture. So if this kind of talk is so common, is it really that big of a deal? Well, I think both you and I have experienced just how this kind of negative talk or this trend of gossip has just had such negative consequences. The embarrassment, the hurt, and the way that it can tornado through people's lives is a really powerful and destructive force. So if this trend of negative talk and gossip is such a big deal in our culture, how do we keep from doing it? Well, today we are going to look at a guy named Paul, and he is an awesome guy in the Bible who is in the New Testament, and he had some words to churches that are letters throughout the Bible, and he would write to his friends at these churches and share best Christian practices. And he wrote to the church of Ephesus. And so in Ephesians, we find these words: "Don't use foul or abusive language." Ephesians 4:29. See, Paul was writing to the Ephesians to encourage them, and he told them, don't use any foul or abusive language. When I was in high school, I remember my youth pastor sharing this message with me, and it stuck in my head. I remember Ephesians 4:29, the NIV version, that said, do not use any unwholesome talk. This foul, abusive language. When Paul was using the word foul and abusive language or unwholesome talk, he wasn't just talking about cuss words and really mean things to say. The word in Greek that actually he uses in this part of scripture is actually translated rotten. Have you ever pictured rotten fruit? Have you ever seen it? Seen a picture of it? It is disgusting. Oh gosh. This is rotten fruit. It is absolutely foul. It smells terrible. It's been attracting bugs. I've actually had to rescue it from our trash because I was saving it for this talk with you. But that's because this is trash and it rightfully belongs in the trash. Nobody wants this in their house. So this kind of talk, unwholesome talk, is rotten. And this kind of rottenness, this kind of talk, it has a way of destroying our relationships, our friendships, and our ability to influence other people for good. Because guys, this is nasty. So if this is disgusting and unwholesome talk, how do we produce good fruit? I mean, I really love strawberries, but there is nothing you can do to get me to eat that. But this is good fruit, right? This looks awesome. I would definitely eat that. I mean, I'm a little turned off by it right now because that's really gross, but this is great. So how do we produce good fruit? Let's take a look at scripture. Mark tells us it's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled, but what comes from your heart. Can I just let you in on a little secret about this kind of talk, this gossip? It's not really about the person you're talking about. No, gossip is really about what's happening inside of you. This kind of judgmental talk, it's about what's happening in your heart. That's what Jesus was saying here. When we use language that hurts or speaks badly about somebody else, that kind of language, it rots. So that's what Jesus is really talking about here. It really is a matter of what's going on inside of our heart. You see, when you talk badly about someone, or when you have intentions of shaming, guilting, and making somebody feel horrible, it really reveals your heart. When you have those intentions of taking a stab at somebody else, it really is a condition of where you are in your life and in your walk. So really, it shows something rotten happening inside of you. And when we give that kind of talk to people, we're actually serving something quite like this to them. No wonder it destroys our ability to influence, right? Instead, I don't know about you, but I'd like to be known for offering something wholesome, something good, something really quite great, right? So I'd rather be known for offering something really quite great and wholesome, wouldn't you? So if we want to start changing our words, we have to start checking our hearts, right? We have to check our hearts. We've got to ask ourselves what's going on inside of us that makes us want to say those things. And then we've got to make a choice to change our language. Because here's the truth. When it comes to being judgmental and sharing hateful things about other people, we have a choice of whether or not to participate. You can choose not to speak words that hurt or shame or embarrass somebody else. And here's what I love about this. Paul didn't say, go figure this out all on your own. He actually gave us some great scripture. So let's continue to read. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. So that whole scripture, do not use foul or abusive language, but let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. Instead of gossiping, Paul said that we should choose words that are good and helpful. We can choose to say things that encourage not just the people we're talking about, but also anyone who hears them. In other words, choose words that help others, not words that hurt others. When you love and care about somebody first, when that's your primary attitude, it's going to change a lot about what you say with your words. When you put others first, when you choose to love others, it changes the way you speak about them. You'll think about them before you, and you'll stop gossiping and being judgmental before it starts. So remember, choose words that help others, not words that hurt. Now, I know gossip is going to be all around you and everyone else might be doing it, but you get to choose whether or not you contribute to it. Instead of gossiping, Paul says we can choose words that are good and helpful. We can choose words that encourage those who hear it, anyone who hears it, not just the person that it's geared towards. That's the kind of talk that I want to have. That's the kind of wholesomeness that I want to be about. So how do we have that? How do we have that wholesomeness? Well, if we choose to put other people first, if we choose to love them and think about others before ourselves, it becomes easier for us to not say negative things and be judgmental. And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy or that you're going to get it right every time. I certainly am not perfect and have had my share of negative thoughts and feelings towards other people and have shared them to others as well. But our God is an amazing God. And I promise you that if you ask Him to help you to love other people and to say wholesome and encouraging things and to be this force of wholesomeness instead of serving people a rotten mess, He's going to be there with you every step of the way to be part of something that's really spectacular. If this is the kind of fruit that you want to produce like me, ask God to be a part of this journey with you so that you can build up and encourage others. So the next time you find yourself saying something negative about somebody else or thinking these horrible thoughts, ask yourself, why? Why do I want to say this? Identify your desire to use negative talk or gossip. Where is that coming from? Then give yourself a new filter for the words that you say. Use the phrase that Paul offers us. Is this helpful? Are the words I'm saying, are they producing good fruit, or are they just negative? Is this building up others? Is this going to be a great contribution? Is this wholesome? Is this producing good fruit? You see, we want to use words that help others, not words that hurt others. So let's stop saying the things that are rotten, and let's be known for our good fruit. Well, I am so glad that you joined us this evening for Youth Group at Home edition, and we will continue to actually have connection hours on Wednesdays nights for middle school at 7 and for high school at 8, and I look forward to seeing you then. And until then, I hope to see you soon. This is good.